So in this story about our land-grant university, we see in this week of Ag Progress Days both the old and the new, one where tradition meets innovation, and where progress honors the past even as it builds to the future. Penn State and our land-grant university creation was a revolution, right? It was a revolutionary moment. It was a promise to bring education, research, outreach directly to the people who feed our nation, to our farmers and families and communities. It was a promise of practical knowledge and practical needs. And today that mission lives on. And I would say it is more important than ever. While it looks different than it did in 1862, the core values are the same. Respect for the land, commitment to community, and dedication to nourishing people. We see these values in the faces of the young farmers learning new techniques at the student farm just a few miles away, in the hands of the researchers who are on these grounds, or at the Fruit Research Center and the Grape Research Centers in Erie. They're demonstrating the research in action. We saw it in a barn in Lawrence County, where farmers told us what a Western lab would mean for their operations and their future. On a farm in Lithuania, where Penn State's global reach shared insights on innovation. And I'm pleased we've got a Lithuanian our delegation here today. Where's Managas? Right? All the way from Lithuania. We see it at the Lion Pantry, where student volunteers make sure that their peers are fed and cared for. And in the vision of producers adopting sustainable practices, anchored in science that protect their land and their livelihood. So today we stand in the center of Pennsylvania's agricultural landscape and at the heart of our land-grant university story. Let's honor how far we've come and the commitment to how far we are ready to go. Because the land-grant mission is not just a piece of history. It is a living promise. A promise that we will keep learning, keep sharing, keep showing up for each other. A promise that Pennsylvania agriculture will continue to lead by blending the wisdom of the past with the technology of tomorrow. A promise that we will grow not just crops, but communities, and not just profits, but people, and not just yields, but opportunity for every farmer, every food business, every rural town, and every neighborhood connected by agriculture's reach. And there's no one who is more committed to keeping that promise than Governor Shapiro, a leader who has shown up for farmers every time, who listens very carefully and intently, who invests, who believes, as we do, that when agriculture is strong, Pennsylvania is strong. It's my honor to introduce a governor who understands the power of innovation and tradition, who has made agriculture a centerpiece of his vision for Pennsylvania's future, and who is working every day to turn that promise into action. Please join me in welcoming Governor Shapiro.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all very, very much. I have a lot to say, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to be with you today on what is an opportunity for us to celebrate the earth and celebrate one another. But I want to just begin by taking a moment to recognize that in the western part of our state this week, we lost two brave steelworkers in the tragedy at the Clairton plant. I was there with their families yesterday, and I shared with them that all 13 million Pennsylvanians were joining me in prayer, not only for the families who were suffering, not only to pray for a speedy recovery for those who were injured and still in the hospital, but that we pray to protect their way of life and that we pray to make sure that they have safety going forward. And so I know you all join me in taking a moment to give thanks to the Lord and to pray for them and for their speedy recovery. I want to begin today by thanking the man who I consider to be the finest voice for agriculture in the entire nation, a man that I am blessed to work with every day in my administration, and that is the great Secretary of Agriculture, Russell Redding. It is rare to find an individual who is as devoted to the land as he is devoted to public service, devoted to helping his fellow Pennsylvanians. Secretary Redding has been threatening to retire for like the last 30 years. I think we can all join together in agreeing that he's got to have at least 30 more in front of him, and we are all better off for his service. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. And I must say, it is great to be back here at Ag Progress Days to see all of the incredible innovation and to see it through the prism of the Penn State University. And I must say, to be here with my good friend, the president of Penn State, Neely Bendapudi, is a special privilege. Thank you for all you do. We appreciate you. Neely, you need to know this because you see Neely here at this setting. You got the ag pin on, right? Okay. She wears that ag pin even behind your backs, okay? She wears it wherever she goes. She is a partner of mine in making progress on so many different fronts. I'm going to talk more about the integral role Penn State plays in our economy, but just know we are blessed to have Neely Bendapudi at the helm of Penn State together with Dean Troy Ott. So we thank you very, very much for your leadership here. I also want to acknowledge some of the leaders who are with us. We have members of our federal delegation, our congressional delegation. We have county commissioners from Mark Higgins here in Center County to all across our great Commonwealth. Secretary Walker from my administration joins us, and I want to just single out, I know we have members of the legislature here, 4 particular leaders who join us. Senators Vogel and Schwank, who lead the Agriculture Committee in the Senate, and Representative Pashinsky and Mao, who lead the Agriculture Committee in the House. We thank them all for their leadership. Thank you. You know, I talk all the time in places all across this Commonwealth, on our farmlands and in our skyscrapers, about the importance of agriculture here in our Commonwealth, about its role in the traditions and the heritage of this great Commonwealth. You can literally trace back, I think, to the book of Genesis and the work Adam did in the Garden of Eden, to some of the work that happens on our farms here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania today. But I think it does this group and all of you a great disservice to simply speak about agriculture in those rich terms of heritage. To me, agriculture is richly important to the future of our great Commonwealth. Farmers do noble work every single day to feed thy neighbor. Farmers are also critically important to the future of this great Commonwealth. That is why last year, working together with Secretary Redding, we unveiled for the first time in 20 years an economic development strategy for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We didn't have one before. We do now. And we focus on 5 key areas of our economy. One of those 5 key areas is agriculture. Hear me on this. For the first time in decades, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is betting its economic future on the work you are doing on your farmlands, on the work you are doing in your classrooms. We believe in what you're doing, and we believe it is critical to the future of all 13 million Pennsylvanians. No longer is our economic growth strategy focused on high-rises and suburban office parks alone. It is squarely focused on our farmlands and on our rural communities. You all know the statistics. Pennsylvania is home to 53,000 farms. 600,000 of our fellow Pennsylvanians, our neighbors, work in agriculture. And ag contributes $132 billion to our state's economy. To ignore that is disrespectful, and to ignore that, frankly, doesn't make good economic sense. We have to focus on making agriculture continue to be a center of our work going forward. Ag is playing an essential role in my vision for the future of what I see for Pennsylvania. And I know ag plays a central role in the mission of this fine university. Over the last many years, Penn State's College of Agriculture Sciences has played a vital role in Pennsylvania's ag industry, with a long tradition of being a leading pioneer on agriculture science. In fact, I don't know if you know this, I'm sure Neely does, Penn State offered the first bachelor's degree for agriculture studies in the entire nation back in 1861, I believe it was. And today, you carry that legacy forward as a world leader in agriculture research and training, driving the innovation that we are seeing on our farmlands. I was in a tractor the other day in central Pennsylvania where a farmer was bragging about the computer technology that was on his tractor that has its roots traced back to some of the work that's been done in classrooms right here at Penn State. You can see it all around us, not just on that one particular farmer's tractor. At this expo here, Penn State is literally connecting our farmers with the world with nearly 400 different industry innovators from all across North America. All of those exhibitors are key to the future of making agriculture more efficient and making agriculture more profitable and making agriculture more central to our economic growth strategy. In my administration, we are working to support the work you're doing by making meaningful investments to help our farmers get ahead and address some of the biggest challenges that I know you face. Let me give you just 3 examples of the dozens I could go on and on about. First, we know that the ag industry is facing critical workforce shortages. So we have worked with Penn State, among others, to help develop critical workforce pipelines that connect young people to careers in agriculture. To that end, my administration has already created 11 new apprenticeship programs just focused on training young farmers from dairy herd management to urban agriculture. We have worked with Penn State to create a greater pipeline for young people to go into agriculture. And we have invested millions of dollars through the Department of Labor and Industry, led by Secretary Walker, in initiatives led by the Penn State Extension to provide targeted technical assistance for ag employers who need to hire and retain these skilled workers for their farms. Creating a pipeline for the jobs of not just today, but tomorrow is critically important. Let me give you a second example. We have funded ACAP, the Agriculture Conservation Assistance Program, with $35 million to help farmers take care of their resources, improve their water quality, and adopt sustainable practices. That has been a priority of Penn State, and we've worked together to make that investment. I know that farmers are amongst the most dedicated conservationists in this entire Commonwealth, and indeed across the country. And you are proving that, and we're going to make these investments. And let me just give you a third quick example. We have strengthened our research partnership with Penn State, partnering with them to open up a new Western lab at Penn State Beaver. We are going to now be able to finally expand our testing capacity and help mitigate future outbreaks, future diseases, something I know folks talked about in the Capitol for years and years and years. We came together on a bipartisan basis to get it done, and working with Penn State, we are going to have a state-of-the-art lab. In addition to that, we are creating a new Center for Plant Excellence housed right here at Penn State to help drive the new research we need, the innovation we need, and the business growth in our growing green industry. These are just 3 examples of how we have been able to partner with Penn State in order to move ag innovation forward. Because listen, if we really want to lead, we've got to take advantage of the resources and the know-how that we have right here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And that includes the valuable work happening right here at Penn State University. But we also can't stop there. I have heard loud and clear from our farmers, we need to invest real capital in helping them grow, and we need to make sure that they have the latest technologies in their hands. We need to help them increase output by putting those technologies, like I talked about before, on our tractors and in the hands of our farmers. So last year, we came together, Democrat and Republican alike. And I think it's important for folks in this room to understand we're one of the only states in the nation with a divided legislature, a Senate led by Republicans, a House led by Democrats. And so when we make these kinds of investments in agriculture, it is done with my vision and on a bipartisan basis, people coming together to get that done. And last year is a great example of that. We became the first state in the nation with the new Agriculture Innovation Fund to put these latest technologies into the hands of our farmers. We seeded it with $10 million. And I think it is important for you to know that all $10 million has made its way into farms across Pennsylvania. Under Secretary Redding's leadership, we had 88 awardees in 45 different counties, accounting for all $10 million driven out across Pennsylvania. And I heard loud and clear from Chris Hoffman and everybody else on our farms that they want more. Chris always wants more, and we're happy to try and oblige, right? And so we have asked lawmakers to come back with $15 million in addition to that baseline 10 for a total fund in ag innovation that is going to help us grow and create more opportunities for our farmers. But listen, driving out dollars, that's only part of the equation. It's only part of our responsibility to help our farmers going forward. We know we need to move at the speed of farming and at the speed of business in order to keep up with you. Farmers work a long and tough day. You should count on a state government that is working just as hard for you. And that means a state government that gets stuff done and moves quickly to get you answers. I am proud of the fact that we are working now collaboratively in our state government across all different agencies to streamline all of our permits, our licenses, and our applications to make state government a help, not a hindrance, to our farmers. And boy, oh boy, have we made real progress. Pennsylvania went from the bottom of the pack in the nation when it came to permitting times, and now we are leaders in the nation. Heck, I even chair a bipartisan committee of governors focusing on now Pennsylvania being a national model for how to do permitting for our farmers and our businesses and how to get it done quickly. Let me give you just one example of that. At the Department of Agriculture, one of the most important permits they have to issue is the Food Establishment Registration Permit. The processing time used to take 20 days to get that permit. That's how long it took the day Secretary Redding and I got sworn in, 20 days. Now you're getting it in under 3 days. We have decreased that permit time by 85%, and that is just one example of the more than 2,400 permits we issue across Pennsylvania. Since I took office, the Department of Agriculture under Secretary Redding's leadership has processed nearly 77,000 permits just in that one agency alone. And hear me on this, they have processed those 77,000 permits in saving 70% of the time it used to take. They have cut down on the wait time by 70%. We are so confident in our ability to deliver a government that is responsive and quick. We're now, I think, the only state in the nation where we will give you a money-back guarantee on your permit. If we tell you it's going to take 14 days to get a permit and we get to day 15, we will issue you a money-back guarantee. We have issued hundreds of thousands of permits over just the last 18 months since that money-back guarantee has been in place. And we've only had to issue 5 refunds during that time. And by the way, of the 77,000 permits Secretary Redding processed at the Department of Agriculture, they only had to issue 1 refund. They are moving at the speed of farmers. They are moving at the speed of business. Pennsylvania is moving again. I know you were demanding speed, and we now have delivered speed to you through these reforms. We are going to continue to have our farmers' backs. We're going to continue to back agriculture as central to Pennsylvania's economy and our growth strategy. But I know that for the rich tradition and history we have, for all of the investments and the changes and the speed that we've brought in during just my 2.5 years as your governor, I know that you face continued challenges today. I know that tariffs are having a negative impact. I know that markets are closing and prices are going up as a result of it. We saw how devastating those tariffs were to the hardwoods industry here in Pennsylvania the last go-around. You remember what happened. Back in 2018, the hardwoods industry lost $1 billion in sales as a result of those tariffs, and Pennsylvania was especially hard hit. I'm worried about these new tariffs. I know you are too. We've had conversations on your farms about it. I also know that you're worried about workforce issues on your farms with the uncertainty that has been created there. But I want you to know that even with all the noise out there, even with all those challenges, you've got a friend in my administration. We are going to continue to work with you to help you through these challenges. We're going to continue to make government move speedily. We're going to continue to work in a bipartisan manner to make the investments necessary for our farms to be able to prosper and for you to be a central part of our growth here in this Commonwealth. I take the work you do very seriously. I take the challenges that you face very seriously. I believe Pennsylvania agriculture is the best, not just in the nation, but in the entire world. And I believe it is our job to work together with you to give you every resource you need to be able to survive and to be able to thrive. I want to thank you for the noble work you do every day for our fellow Pennsylvanians, for feeding those who are hungry, for showing people the value of a hard day's work, for showing them the pride that comes from the earth and the land here in our Commonwealth, for showing them the nexus between the classrooms at Penn State and the work that farmers do when they're on their hands and knees on the land. Together, we're going to continue to grow Pennsylvania. Together, we're going to continue to improve agriculture. And together, I know Pennsylvania is on the rise thanks to all of you. God bless you all very, very much. Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm going to ask Dave if he'll take the first question. Usually I would ask Tom, but I think Dave is our veteran here. Let me just say, it is great to be back here. I think this is one of the most extraordinary displays of agriculture and ag innovation in the entire country. And we're incredibly proud of the nexus between those who work on our farms, those who educate the next generation here at Penn State, and the policies that we work on in Harrisburg, in our state, to support farming and support agriculture across the board. Really privileged to be here today with the greatest agriculture secretary in the country, Secretary Russell Redding, who has had a hand in how we've developed ag for many decades. And I believe that the future of our growth strategy here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania runs right through our farmland. So it's good to be here. I know you all probably have a bunch of questions. With your permission, I'm going to start with Dave, and then we'll see whatever else anybody's got. Dave, what's on your mind?
Well, first of all, thank you for coming.
Of course. It's good to be back.
Yeah, good for me to be back, too.
Yeah, you're looking good, man. God bless you.
Well, of course, Penn State is our land-grant college. So important to us. And when you see the rest of the country, some of the actually problems that are out there, I talk to farmers out in the western part of the country, not here in Pennsylvania, but other states.
Yeah.
And I'm worried about the apple pickers. I'm worried about a lot of people. And agriculture is our #1 industry, and we want to keep it strong.
There's no question. Look, and I think if you think about the future of agriculture, you've got to invest in the workforce of not only today, but tomorrow as well. Part of that is done on a campus like Penn State, which is the premier agriculture college in the entire nation, and we invest there. But you also have to invest in the next generation of farmer, those who are working with dairy herd and others. And so that's why we've dramatically increased our investments in apprenticeship programs, in VOTEC. Typically people would think VOTEC would learn to be a welder or plumber, two critically important industries. But we've expanded that to include more as it relates to agriculture and farming. And so whether you're in the 9th or 10th grade, or whether you're a student here at Penn State, we are investing to draw you into a career in agriculture. And we think that is really, really important.
Absolutely. Of course, you and Russell make a great team.
Sure do. I'm
Honored
grateful
to do it. Thank you.
Governor,
Thank you.
after weeks of negotiations, how frustrating is two sides are still this far apart with budget negotiations?
I would not say that we're far apart. I spent a good bit of time last night with the leader of the Democratic caucus, and I spent 2 hours this morning with the Senate Republican leader, Senator Pittman. We're making progress. I actually thought that the move yesterday in the Senate brought us closer, because what it did was it made clear that the Senate is committed to funding mass transit, which has been a priority of mine. So I thought we took a step forward. We have a clear direction where we all need to go, and we're working hard to get it done.
What's it going to take to get it done?
We're going to continue to work hard, work honestly, work respectfully to get it done.
But your office called the transit proposal they passed unserious, I believe. And my question to you is, why can't that money be used to fund the capital budget stuff? If it's not encumbered yet, why not be able to use it?
I thought that what the Senate did yesterday moved the process forward. Everybody's committed to roughly the same number I put forth, about $300 million in funding for transit. I'm also committed to funding roads and bridges at the same time. We've had some really good, honest dialogue over the last 24 hours. I'm confident we're going to get there.
Where's skill games?
I'm not going to negotiate the specifics of our budget here through you. I can tell you that the leaders in both caucuses understand the importance of getting this done, and also understand the parameters within which we are working, and I think we're making progress.
Do you have any insights on the Department of Corrections?
I'll come back to you.
Here in Center County, many are still waiting for the Department of Corrections to announce the decision about Rockview.
Yeah.
We have gotten messages and reports from employees there that they're beginning to clear space, kind of initiating possibly a decision has been made. Any comment on that?
I wouldn't read anything into that. The Department of Corrections is continuing to work through their process. I can guarantee that every single corrections officer, everyone working in the Department of Corrections will continue to have employment, will continue to have work.
Going back today, you were talking about workforce issues. What are you seeing in your office with workforce and agriculture?
We're seeing more of an investment in agriculture, more of an investment in the next generation of workers, more of an investment in ag innovation. We're the only state in the country to have an ag innovation fund, and the Secretary was overrun with requests for that initial $10 million. We're going to work hard to try and increase that funding as we go forward. Ag innovation is really important.
Governor, earlier you talked about the workforce development programs to get the younger generation involved. Earlier today, some farmers had talked to me and other people over there just about, the biggest challenges to, younger generation getting involved is, the cost of farmland and the cost to build the infrastructure on this farmland. So I'm just curious, how is Pennsylvania working to make this more attainable for the younger generation to get involved?
I've worked really hard to increase capital that is available to our farmers, to our next generation of farmers. I think we've made really great strides under the Secretary's leadership to do that. I'd love to invest more. That's why we work on a budget, we negotiate it, we try and find common ground between Democrats and Republicans, but make no mistake, I want to invest more in capital for our farmers.
Will the budget include more capital towards...
I'm not going to get into the specifics of our negotiations, but I think agriculture remains an area where we've consistently seen bipartisan agreement. We're all going to have to compromise, but that's an area that I'm really pushing hard on.
One or two more.
The president's actions in D.C. and him talking about other cities that he might feel crime is a problem in. Are you worried about Philadelphia or perhaps?
I haven't seen the specifics of obviously I've read what he did in D.C. I haven't looked at the specifics of what he did with the police department. I do know that the police department there has a different structural and legal relationship with the President of the United States, completely different than Philadelphia. I think what you've seen in Philadelphia under the leadership of Commissioner Bethel and Mayor Parker is a dramatic decrease in crime in the city. We've seen violent crime go down across the state gun violent crime, go down about 42%. Philadelphia accounts for a significant amount of that. They're moving in the right direction, and I've got total faith in Commissioner Bethel and Mayor Parker. And I can tell you that Colonel Paris works very, very closely with the city of Philadelphia, and we're going to continue to handle stuff in-house there.
A lot of concern among international students here at Penn State. Are you hearing similar concerns at other colleges across the state?
I think what you've seen with the president's immigration policies is real concern, not just at colleges, but on our farmlands. We continue to hear from farmers who were worried about these raids, worried about people being swept up off their farms, out of their restaurants, out of their workforce. And I think that is causing real concern amongst farmers.
Go to Lancaster Farmer for the last one.
Yeah.
Farmers here in Pennsylvania could use a new crop in their rotation. Do you have a plan to bring industrial hemp, make it big, boring, and ubiquitous here in
Let me
Pennsylvania?
ask the Secretary to jump in on that one.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
well,
go for it.
The answer is yes.
Yes.
Right. So eight years ago, roughly, we took on the industrial hemp, as you know, and I think as we've talked about, what we need to do. Part of this is a congressional conversation about changes to allowances for industrial hemp. 2 is sort of investing in industrial hemp. 3 is sort of the adult use and sort of where we place the industrial hemp inside of it as a market. To the governor's point, though, it's about an economic opportunity for farmers, right? We want to protect that and grow that. So there's a future in both the industrial and the adult. So,
All right.
Thanks, Eric.
Okay.
thanks,
Everybody good?
everybody.
Thanks,
All
everybody.
right. Thank you.
Have a good one. Dave,
All right.
stay well, buddy.
Thanks.
All good. Thank you.